Hello, everyone, and welcome to our new show in the LOZ podcast network called Naturally Aligned. We are here today with Dr. Brittany Bennett, and she is with Aligned Living Collective. And we are going to talk to her about everything chiropractic. We're going to talk about massage. We're going to talk about personal training. And we're going to talk about her philosophy on why she put together the Aligned Living Collective right here in Lake of the Ozarks. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
So tell me, how did you get started in chiropractic? I mean, is this something that you always knew you wanted to do, or did you find it, later in life?
It's definitely not something I knew I wanted to do at a young age. Starting out when I was younger, I always kind of was drawn to helping people just naturally, and also drawn to children a lot. I was always the one that would babysit kids whenever anybody needed me to. But I was always very athletic, was in lots and lots of sports growing up, and ended up running track in college. And that's kind of where it all began. I knew I wanted to be a biology major, but really didn't know what I wanted to do with it. Then decided, well, I'm an athlete. I might as well work with athletes. So I was thinking, physical therapy or something like that. And then one of my track coaches, a mentor of mine, he was a chiropractor. And he looked at me and he goes, well, do you want to work for someone the rest of your life, or do you want to own your own business? And
That's really good advice.
And I kind of stopped and I was like, I didn't really think about that, but yeah, I'd rather just work for myself, right? So then I just was like, sure, I'll be a chiropractor. Why not? So it was so I just went down that path, trusting him, and knew that he was doing well with his business. Didn't really know a whole lot about it. I mean, he adjusted me. I realized I ran better when he adjusted me. I had less injuries, and if I did get injured, I would heal quicker. And then, of course, on top of that, other therapies and stuff too, not just chiropractic. But so I got into school, and then it was my first year there. One of the older students suggested I come with her to a seminar, and it was a prenatal and pediatric seminar. Didn't even know that was a thing. Didn't know you adjusted pregnant women. Didn't know you adjusted babies, like all that. That was
You're adjusting small babies.
Small babies, yes.
Like as early as
I adjusted my children when they were minutes old.
Minutes old. Oh my gosh. So, and it's not, obviously not, you're not putting them on the table and adjusting. I mean, it's a different kind of adjustment, I'm sure.
Much different. Yeah. The pressure that you can handle on your eyeball is the amount of pressure we're putting on a baby.
Okay. Well, and it's a very traumatic, birth is traumatic and traumatic for the baby. So
it's very physically demanding on both mom and baby. So, getting adjusted during pregnancy to make sure the pelvis is nice and open and in the right position is important, so baby can actually come out more easily. And then, yes, even afterward, it can throw mom's pelvis out, and then baby too. Like if they come out with an arm hanging out, or
right,
it can throw their neck out. It can throw all sorts of issues.
I didn't realize that you could adjust a baby that young.
Most people don't. So yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be educated about more, for sure. But that kind of led me, and then that's when I realized at that point, after going to that seminar, how my perspective on chiropractic was just so different at that point. I realized how much one adjustment can do for somebody at that point. I finally realized in that moment, and then I started taking all these certification programs and stuff to be able to adjust babies and pregnant women, that it's not just cracking backs at all. Like one adjustment can change an entire baby's nervous system and change its whole world, which is really cool to see. When they experience an adjustment, it's more profound than when an adult does sometimes,
right,
just because they don't have a lot of tension and other things hindering the adjustment from working as well. So it's really, really cool to see.
Well, that's interesting because, you really kind of focused in on something that I think not a lot of people even know there's out there. And so, but that's not all you do. You do a lot of traditional chiropractic work,
correct,
right?
Yes.
And what is the approach at Aligned Living Collective on how you deal with clients, maybe versus them going to just a sole chiropractic office? Like, what's the difference in your mind?
What kind of sets us apart? I mean, the way I adjust might be somewhat similar to other chiropractors, but I feel like I do take a different approach just in the chiropractic aspect. each time a patient comes in, I mean, the history of that patient is huge, and that tells me a lot on how I'm going to adjust them and how I should approach their situation. I mean, there's so many things that we take into consideration before we start adjusting somebody. So I typically x-ray everybody, so that gives me a very good picture of what their spine looks like. The age of the patient makes a huge difference, whether a baby or, just are they an athlete? Are they sitting all day? Are they standing all day? I mean, those are all things that we have to kind of take into consideration. It's not just come in, oh, my back hurts. Okay, crack.
Right.
Like it's a very laid out process, and I take a very long time with each first patient. Like the first visit is pretty long, like an hour to an hour and a half.
Oh, wow. So you're spending a lot of time with them.
Yes, lots and lots of talking, asking lots of questions, so that I can make sure I am fine-tuning their experience to meet them and like what they need, not just what anybody needs, if that makes sense.
And that's cool, because I know, a lot of times when you're going into offices, these doctors are really pressed for time, particularly if it's all insurance based. And I know you're not.
No.
So you actually get to spend more time with the client than, an insurance based guy's got to see 6 people in an hour.
There's some chiropractors out there that are seeing patients every 5 minutes, which I think is just absolutely insane. I'm like, how do you even know what's wrong with them?
But you're taking the time to actually sit down, go through their lifestyle. A lot of stuff affects us, right? I mean,
everything, yeah.
Stress. How are you eating? What's going on in your life? Like you said, do you sit all day? Are you an athlete? Are you constantly, out there pushing it? And so being able to sit with somebody and go through the whole history. And I think it's interesting that you x-ray everybody. Like, you want to have an x-ray because you want to know what's going on.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. Now, we live at the lake, so there's a lot of vacationers. So we have a little bit of a different approach package for them, because they're most likely only seeing me once.
Right.
Maybe twice the whole time they're here. So that looks a lot different. At that point, we're just trying to relieve them of an ailment so they can go back out playing hard.
Right. They were on the sea-doo. They hit
all for
they
ring or whatever.
They hit a big wave on the lake and they jarred their back. Yeah, you see a lot of that. Well, it's a collective, so it's not just you.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what is going on in the collective and what other services you're offering to people.
Yeah. So when you first get out of school, right, you think, chiropractic is the fix all. It's amazing. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to start healing a bunch of people. It's going to be great. Right. Well, then, you get humbled real quick, and you start realizing there are people that you adjust them and they're like 100% better, and they walk out the door and it's great. But there was a lot of people where they'd feel better for a couple days and then it'd come back, and it was just like this whole thing. And I'm like, okay, well, what's missing here? Like, chiropractic is amazing, and it heals a lot. And our philosophy in chiropractic is above, down, inside out. So above, down, brain down, and then inside out. The body heals in that way. So as chiropractors, we're moving the interference from the spine so that the brain and body can communicate, and then healing can happen. So you can shove nutrition at you all day long, but if your brain and body aren't connected and talking and communicating, the nutrition's not really going to do much.
Right. It's not going to.
So, and same with vice versa with, other things too. So what I started to realize was chiropractic wasn't the fix all. Like, there had to be more. Like, yes, that's the first step, I believe. I truly believe that. And then after that, okay, what else does your body need to heal? Because chiropractic's not it. It's not all of it. It's a huge part, but not all of it. So then, and I was getting a lot of questions from clients about nutrition and what exercises should I do? And can you massage me? And just all these things. And
right.
I realized, I've seen other practitioners or just people, they try to do it all, right? They try to be everybody's everything.
Right.
And then they're okay at lots of things, but they're not good at one thing.
Right.
And so what kind of quality care is the person really getting? So my thought process on all that was, okay, so who can I find that specializes in nutrition or massage therapy and all these things? And at the point at the office I was working at, we did have some massage therapists already, so that was helpful. I already had that established. And then that's when I met Amanda Banish. She's in my office, and she does functional medicine. And we will introduce her in another podcast so she can kind of explain a lot more what
we're just teasing her on this podcast. We're going to give her own.
But essentially, functional medicine versus like the medical route, is she looks at the entire body, the entire system, and tries to find the root cause. And sometimes it takes digging and detective work to figure out what is actually causing this. And then you find, okay, well, there was something that was causing this. And so there's all these pieces that you kind of have to puzzle together. And then her and I communicate about the patients that we both work with so that they're getting the best care possible. And sometimes patients tell me something and not her. And there's things I don't know. Funny enough, I thought I knew everything, right? Now, but there's a lot of stuff I don't know. So it's nice having someone else that I can like reach out to and be like, hey, this is what's going on with this client. What do you think?
Yeah.
And then we work together. It's, more heads are better than one, right? So that's kind of where it all began. And even back when I was in school, in my head, I was like, I want a place that has a nurse practitioner and, I want everything all in one place. And everybody works together and like you get together and have meetings and, discuss your patients and come up with the right fix for them. But, when you first get out of school, you just do what you got to do to.
Yeah. You're starting out and
so you're just adjusting. But then it was getting frustrating that I wasn't able to like fully heal people, like, or help them heal themselves, So then, and Amanda does a lot of things other than just functional medicine. They all kind of tie in together. You kind of need all of them together. She does some energy work and some habit and life coaching as well. And then, of course, with the functional medicine, there's a lot of nutrition involved in that. And then I ended up meeting Jackie Bodkin. She's a massage therapist that's been with me for a while, and she specializes in some different kinds of massage therapy too. But all in all, at the office, we offer like deep tissue, relaxation massages for people who don't want deep tissue, prenatal massages for pregnant women. Even children can be massaged too, or athletes and stuff. So, and a big one for her is lymphatic massage, which is really important for people with long COVID. It helps flush all that gunk out. People who have cancer that have been having like chemo treatments and stuff. Again, it helps just kind of like help their body detox and get rid of all the chemicals.
And you didn't hear about that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, with lymphatics. I mean, they've really come a long way in understanding how the lymph system is carrying things in and out and trying to flush. And I mean, it takes more than just drinking water.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. And then there for a while, I was helping people with my athletic background and just chiropractic wise too. I do have a little bit of, I did have to sit for a physical therapy board. I do not call myself a physical therapist because that's their
specialty. But you can do it if you have to.
But I can. And so like I was still helping a lot of clients with that. But now that I've met Matt, he's not a physical therapist, but he is a personal trainer and he is also a health coach. And that has just added to our practice so much more. And I'm so glad I found him. I've always wanted a physical therapist or someone like that in the practice as well. And he specializes, he's got a lot of experience with athletes as well. And then functional movement, which again, instead of isolating specific muscle groups, he's working with all muscle groups and doing more of movement that is like stuff that we would do on a daily basis. So squatting down on the toilet or like just reaching above you, like things that you don't think about, especially as you age, you got to be able to do those things. Right. So like functional movement is really like zoned in on that. And so he's kind of transitioned and his passion right now is really just helping people age better physically and just so they can still do the things that they want to do and pick up their grandkids and play with them and stuff. And he just came out with a book called Thrive Beyond 40, which is fun. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I'm working on it and it is really good so far.
And we'll get into some of his stuff too in another podcast. And, the collective is so cool because, it just, I'm assuming that when you come into that environment, you may only come in for to see you for a chiropractic work, but then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I can get a massage here, or I could work on some training, or I could work with the doctor on some of the other things that are going on. And it's not insurance based. So it's kind of how a cart, right? That people come in and they can pick and choose what they want. Mm-hmm. It's all customer pay. So it doesn't mean you have to get it approved.
No limitations. There's lots of flexibility with no insurance. The insurance companies can't control how or who we treat. There's just a lot of freedom there and it's so much better.
Well, and just the fact that you were saying like, when you do your initial consultation, you might spend an hour with somebody. I can guarantee you there's no chiropractor on an insurance program that's spending even close to 15 minutes to 20 minutes.
And if they are, they're billing quite the price. Yeah.
Right. So you got, if you want some very, acute care and personalization, which I think everybody wants, and they want to know that they want to be heard. And like you said, sometimes it takes more than just a few minutes to get it out of them, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or they might go see another person in your collective for something else, and they're telling them more than they told you, but you guys could get together and kind of formulate a plan for them, even though you didn't hear that directly, but they're giving all that information out because they just, that's how people process information. And I know that when I go in there, you guys, you supplements and stuff. I mean, I know that there's a different kinds of things you guys are selling as well there, that are in the massage side and just other stuff. What are some of the products that you're getting out to people?
Well, yeah. So Amanda definitely sells a lot of supplement for nutrition wise. The biggest things I sell, a big one is Karma Rub, which I am a co-owner of. It is pure.
You're a co-owner of the Karma Rub?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to that a little bit. What's
for the USA brand. So it started in Australia, and there's this gentleman out there who had his name's Michael, but he it's on his property, this creek and a spring, and he found out it was very highly concentrated in magnesium and some other minerals like iron and zinc and copper and stuff like that. And so he started using it, and it's like, we call it liquid gold at the office. I mean, It's just phenomenal. And it's super user friendly, and it's not super expensive either. Like some of these.
How do you use the product?
It's topical. So you just put it right on. And so magnesium actually absorbs better through the skin. And so if you can put it directly over your ailment, it works so much quicker than taking it through unless you're trying to fix some gut issues, then you might want to take it orally. But yeah, it's amazing, and it helps so many of my clients with migraines, headaches, muscle issues, nerve issues. So people with neuropathy, so that's nerve pain in your feet and legs, whether it's diabetic or because they've got a really bad back. Usually they're prescribed gabapentin or some kind of nerve altering drug, and they said the magnesium works 10 times better than even those medicines do.
Wow.
And it costs them like at most $40 for a big bottle. And
that's cool. And I mean, it's just cool that you're looking into those kind of different therapies. It's not just run of the mill, prescribe something, you're looking for alternatives. It's a real holistic approach to it. And so I think, I would encourage anyone at the lake, go in there, check out what's going on at Aligned Living Collective. Make sure you can find them in the LOZ app. They're in Mind, Body and Wellness, and they have a lot of different things going on there. And we actually have a team page on yours, so they can look at all the different people that are in your office and kind of see all the different things that they offer. And we're going to do a series of these podcasts. So this is our first initial one, kind of a get to know you. And we did, because you surprised me. I didn't know you were the co-owner of this product, this magnesium product. So that was awesome. But I think as we get into new episodes, we'll talk even in depth about certain situations. I know we'll go down roads and go a little deeper, and people appreciate that because they don't get that knowledge face to face usually. I mean, it's kind of like, here's what's wrong with you. Take this pill and, call me later. And you're really going in a different approach, which is refreshing.
Yes.
So, but thanks so much for being on the show, and thanks for, everybody out there for tuning in. Naturally Aligned, it's going to be out there. We're going to have a bunch of episodes, and we'll be able to talk about all the different things, all your other help, all the other people you have in the collective. We're going to go deeper into what they do as well. And I would suggest that you guys go out and see them. And hours that you're open?
I mean, we're there every day of the week. I am a mother of 4, and so my schedule is kind of hit or miss sometimes, but we're very communicative with our patients and stuff, so they know when we're there. And there's many ways that you can get a hold of us too, through text, call, website.
That's awesome. So you're in the 21st century of contact.
Oh yeah, so it's easy to get a hold of us and find out when our hours are. But yeah, we're there every day. Just maybe not every hour of the day, but
all right. Well, I'm looking forward to talking more with you on another episode about new things. I would encourage everyone to get out and see Aligned Living Collective off of KK, really centrally located in town. It's a great location, and we are looking forward to learning more in the next podcast. thanks for joining us today. Thanks for coming on with us. I know this is your first one, so
Yeah. So hopefully I didn't sound too stupid.
You did great. You did great. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode of Naturally Aligned.